Ladies and gentlemen, welcome yet to another show of The Ranger's Lens. My name is Diana Chivuka Nakaima, your host. This time round on One, we have one of the names known there in the conservation world and also in other spaces. This person has been a legislator in the Ugandan Parliament, the 8th Parliament. He's a father, he's a conservationist. He sits on quite a number of boards in the country, including the one for Uganda Wildlife Authority. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put up our hands together to welcome Captain Otekat. Captain Otekat, welcome to the Rangers Show.
Thank you very much.
Are you captain?
I'm captain, I'm a flight captain. I'm not a military captain.
I may not have introduced you well. Who is this captain in details?
Who is this captain in details? I am flight captain John Emily Otekat. I am currently Honorary Wildlife Officers Chairperson. We have an association in the UA called the Honorary Wildlife Officers, and I'm currently the chairperson there. But I'm a person who has worked in the conservation, actually Uganda Wildlife Authority. By then it was called Uganda National Parks for now 51 years.
51 years.
I started working in 1975 when I was just finished O-level.
Okay.
I finished my O-level and I started working with the Uganda Wildlife Authority, National Parks by then, as a ranger. You know, a ranger, a recruit ranger, private, actually starting from down there. And having started from down there, I kept on getting promotions from private ranger. Actually, my first station was Kidepo Valley National Park.
Okay, Captain, before we get into the rise of ranks from ranger
So
to where
yes,
you are,
yes,
we want to talk about that captain title.
captain title.
Because you said flight captain,
Captain.
and then we know captains in the army. What is your journey to a flight captain?
When I was a young person in Soroti, there was a school called the East African Aviation School. It was in Soroti.
It's still there.
It's still there. Now that East African Aviation School used to inspire me. The pilots there used to inspire me a great deal because I used to see them flying their aeroplanes, you know, turning around, doing this and that. So I used to ask myself, will I one time be a pilot? And, you know, having developed that interest, I said, now why can't I be a pilot? But when I joined Uganda Wildlife Authority in 1975, the interest even grew because the person who came to recruit me into Uganda Wildlife Authority was himself a pilot, Professor Eric Droma, who became the ED of UA himself. So the person who came to recruit me into Uganda Wildlife Authority himself was a pilot. And remember that time there was an airstrip in Tororo. So I come from Soroti, right? But where I was recruited from was from Tororo.
From Tororo, yeah.
But Eric Droma, the late Eric Droma, flew there with his yellow bird. We used to call it the yellow bird. He had a plane. He was the boss of the Uganda Institute of Ecology, a research arm of Uganda Wildlife Authority at that time in Queen Elizabeth National Park. So for me, when he kept telling me, I am a pilot, I am what, and so on, I developed even more interest. So I kept on asking him that, sir, now you have recruited me as a ranger in Uganda Wildlife Authority, Uganda National Parks then. Will I one time become a pilot? He kept that in his mind.
Okay.
Eric Droma kept that in his mind. So when I was rising up in ranks, the first thing he would, because those days, every national parks, there were 3 national parks, 3. There was the Kidepo National Park, where I started from. Then there was Marshall Falls National Park. Then Queen Elizabeth National Park in the west. There were only 3.
That was in 1990?
That was 1975.
1975.
You know, remember that 1975 now, that was during Idi Amin's regime. And we had a bit of problem that I will explain also to you. So during my rising up through the ranks, Eric Droma, who was then one of the bosses in the Uganda Wildlife Authority, recommended me to go to fly under Uganda National Parks. He recommended me to go and fly.
Because of your passion?
Because of my passion. He saw my passion. Because with flying, there's a number of things that they see. One of them is passion. Then the other one is your
Academic
credentials, then your intelligence. We call it intelligence quotient. Nowadays, the way they test it, those days, they would test it in a different way. How do you test them? It's called aptitude. Do you call it aptitude test?
Aptitude, then from aptitude you go to oral and...
Correct. Those days, they would now test your ability by taking you up in the air. We had a pilot, also called Paul Salina Loma, the late. Like I told you, every park had a pilot, had a plane. So every chief warden became a pilot. You had to be trained as a pilot. Paul Salina Luma, who was the chief warden of Queen Elizabeth, was flying a plane. Augustine Benebule, who was the chief warden of Kidepo, also had a plane. Then there was a Muzungu called Evans,
who
was in Merchant Falls. Who was in Merchant Falls, also had an aeroplane. Eric Droma, Professor Eric Droma, who was the chief of the Uganda Institute of Ecology in Queen Elizabeth, also had a plane. So everybody had an aeroplane. So I was now the one being sent out. Every time they wanted to do what they call aerial census, aerial surveys. Those days there were so many animals, so aerial surveys were inevitable. Whenever I would go and count elephants, go and count antelopes, go and count buffaloes, giraffes, whatever, Professor Eric Droma would want to make sure that I go along. So now, having seen that quality in me, Professor Eric Droma now proposed that I should go for training. I didn't do my training in
an aviation school.
No, in Soroti. I did it in Kenya, Coast Aviation School in Kenya. It was in Mombasa. That's where I was sent. Now, who paid?
Who paid the
fees?
Training.
The fees. Those days we were very close to the East African Wildlife Society. I'm a board member of the East African Wildlife Society up to today. So it was, I was now sent to the East African Wildlife Society in Nairobi, who was our ally, because Eric Droma was also a member of the East African Wildlife Society. That society is still there up to today, and I'm a member, still a member, and also a board member. So it is now the East African Wildlife Society that paid the fees, but the person who sent me for training was Uganda National Parks, now turned to UWA. So it is National Parks who sent me, handed me over to the East African Wildlife Society, who eventually trained me now as a pilot. So I became a pilot 1989. I told you that I built my house here in 1989. I became a pilot in 1989. And 1989, like I've told you, is when I also built my house, because when you're a pilot, there are quite a bit of allowances. Depending on how many hours you fly. So
after your training in Nairobi, and you became a pilot, so the ranks came up from ranger now to...
Yes, to assistant warden.
From ranger direct to assistant warden?
No, from ranger, because when I was in Kidepo, I went there as a private. So from there, the ranks kept on rising, from private to corporal. When I was there, then from corporal to sergeant. Now the one that lifted me very high is the fight we had with the poachers. Actually, they were I would call them poachers, because they used to come to raid the animals in Kidepo. They were fighters who were in South Sudan called SPLA, the Sudan People's Liberation Army. They would come and try to get the meat from Kidepo to take to their soldiers, the fighting army in Sudan. So one time we had a very serious fight. In 1981, I remember it was 3rd October 1981. Why I remember it? Because that's the time I nearly died. 1981, we were sent for patrol by the then chief warden of that park, of Kidepo. It was now Alfred Labongo, the late Alfred Labongo. Now, when we were sent, we were 18. Myself, I was the commander. Of being a sergeant, I was now the commander. We were sent, we went, we found where these people were roasting meat from a lot of buffalo. They had killed a lot of buffaloes. Now, little did we know that those people also had what they called OPs, observation points. Some people had climbed the trees up to see whether the rangers from Kidepo would come. Now, for us, we went with our guns, knowing that, those people have not seen us. Kume, they had seen us. Ha, my daughter, the fire that came from nowhere.
From the poachers.
Oh, the fire that came. You can imagine. You are a ranger, so you're a warden, so you know what fire means. Fire of 20 minutes, 20 seconds. Fire of 20 seconds is like fire of 20 seconds, just 20 seconds.
It's like fire of...
So we were fired for nearly 20, and fire was coming from every corner. So for me, I fell. What saved me was I was the commander. What saved me was I fell behind an anthill. Now that's what saved me. Now my colleagues, my other rangers, everybody, kila mtu niligawanyika. Kila mtu, everybody was minding his. We were all crying in our own languages. I was crying in my own languages. Everybody, we had some baganda.
So, did they say... So how did they baganda? Mama. So, Captain, how many survived?
So after that fight with the poachers, then I fell under an anthill. Little did I know that the commander of the other side had noticed that I was the commander. Yes, he didn't know. He knew now that I was the commander, because when you are moving for war, the one who at the front is the commander. The one at the back is the second in command. So he had noticed that I was the commander. So the man fired where I was. I was safe behind that anthill. The man fired that anthill until he raised it down. But the good thing was, when I fell down, I'd fallen down with my gun already, safety catch open. My hand was already on the
trigger.
But when I fell, the sun, now, when he was shooting the anthill, the sun kept on falling now on my gun. So I knew, now my gun, how will I fire it? Because if the sun has entered where the trigger is, then I'm in problems. So the man fired, and was now advancing towards me. Now, at one moment, God is God is a mighty person. At one moment, I knew I was dead, because now the man rose up. He rose up with this gun. When somebody rises up with his gun and is pointing at you like this, he knows you are finished. He's just coming to finish you. So something just told me that if you don't act, you are dead. I was already covered with the soil from the anthill. So something told me that, my God actually told me that if you don't act now, you are dead. So what I did was immediate reaction, because the other person knew I was dead. I was not going to do anything. So when I grabbed my gun, knelt down and fired at him. I was the one who put him out of action. Now, when I put him out of action, he jumped. He was a tall Sudanese person, very tall. He jumped. When you are fired with a bullet, you jump up there, and he came down. Now that one, everybody, when the man was firing, every opening in my body was pouring. You can imagine what I'm talking about.
I can imagine.
Yeah, every part of my body was pouring whatever it was supposed to pour. So that way was going, this way was going, I was all sweating. Now, after firing that gentleman who was after me, now they got disorganized. Kumbe, that was also their leader. Now when they disorganized, I told Mike, now I became a commander again. So I was now telling my colleagues, the rangers, to fire. Because we wanted now open way. Because if you don't fire, you not open way. We said, Fungua barabara, fire! So for us, we're now firing everywhere. So we took off, we ran almost for about 10 kilometers. You know how far it is. Because we're so scared. Because they would call their colleagues. Because we're near the Sudan border, Kanataru. It's a place called in Kidepo called Kanataruk. So we ran almost for 10 kilometers. Those days there was no mobile phone. We had our radio call. So we called our chief warden. At Afande, you know, the poachers have shot at us. They have injured some of us. We need to be rescued.
You didn't lose anyone?
We didn't lose anyone, but they lost.
Okay.
They lost,
including the commander.
including the commander. They lost 8 of their people, including the commander. But for us, we didn't lose anyone. But they were wounded. We were wounded. Some were shot in the foot. Some were shot in the hand. Some were shot in the... So that is the time now, after that fighting, when the chief warden sent 2 land robbers because we were 18. That's when we discovered that. Your trousers, you're not put on your shoes. Those days, there were those shoes for the rangers. Even now, they are there. So the shoes would come up to here. You know, you would put it there and then come up here. Then come up to here. By the time we went to board the vehicles, all these parts were full. Each one of us had this full from there because of the firing. We released the people like nothing. Death is bad, by the way.
Captain,
we dilated. Everybody. And we started now, when he entered the car, is now when we started smelling our own. Now, when I checked my place here,
so that time,
it was full like...
So that time you didn't realize.
So that's the time I nearly died.
So that is something that you can never forget.
I can never forget that one of 1981, 3rd of October, in Kanataruk in Kidepo Valley National Park.
So from that operation, that is
from that operation, that's when I was now lifted from sergeant now to assistant warden.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did that operation come before you went for the training?
Correct. Correct. That operation came in 1981. And now in 1981, it was not the training that came first. It is now
this operation.
It is this operation that came first. Then, as a reward, I got 2 things as a result of that operation. One, I was now sent to the African College of Wildlife in Mweka. Mweka is a training college to go and do my diploma.
Okay.
Then 2, when I came back, I was now recommended to go for a flying course in the Coast Aviation School in Nairobi.
Okay, so it was because of the operation.
Because of that operation.
And now we became a flight.
Yes, a flight captain.
A flight captain.
That is because of that operation. Because that operation was fantastic.
Okay, Captain Otekat.
Yes.
Tell us about your experience during the flight operations in the parks.
Yes.
Most especially Kidepo.
Kidepo.
Where you started from. How was your first day? Taking off the plane.
My first day, for instance, when I went to the Coast Aviation School, our director of the school, the aviation school, was called Dr. Peter Evans, and he had his wife also, who was also an instructor, called Cecilia Evans. Then we had my special instructor was called Dr. Richard. He was called Richard Guy, G-U-Y, Muzungu also. All of them were Bazungu. I think it is a private school, so I think that was their school. So my first experience in flying, there are 32 exercises when you are learning how to fly. There are 32 exercises. You cannot move to exercise number 2
when you have
not passed exercise number 1. You cannot move from exercise 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 until you reach number 32. There are 32 exercises. And the last one is normally the trickiest. It is called spinning. You have to spin your plane, and so that they know whether you are able to handle your plane when the weather gets bad. So my first experience of flying a plane, of course, they will not allow you to fly alone. There will be an instructor until
that was in Nairobi.
That was in Nairobi, Coast Aviation in Mombasa. So I used to fly with Dr. Evans himself, Peter Evans, then Cecilia Evans, then Guy. So the last day, it was the Dr. Cecilia Ogwal, the wife of Dr. Peter Evans, who was now flagging me off for what we call solo. Solo is when you fly alone. Alone. Now they are confident of your ability to fly alone. So went to the plane, like usually you go. So went. Then my teacher, my instructor, Cecilia Evans, told me that, yeah, do the checks. There are normally checks, outside checks. Outside checks, there are 17. Then the inside checks are about 21. So after you have checked your plane, you are supposed to go start the engine. She sat in her area where she normally sits. She sits in, because she was a captain in charge. For me, I was a co-pilot. When you are in training, there are those who are called fast pilot. You are the co-pilot. The other one is a full captain. So we sat. So I was now starting the plane. I go, boom, 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 boom. Now ready to go to the next exercise. Then she told me, Otekat, please don't take off. Stop there. I'm getting off this plane. You are now going for your solo. Solo means you're going to fly alone.
Alone, yeah.
Hey, that's when I felt really, now this is another terrible thing. Because I'm going to go alone, all alone on my own.
But if something happens, you're alone.
You're alone. So I started sweating again. But I managed. I went for my solo, came back. But in the cross-country, there's what they call the long cross-country. The short cross-country where you go from this station to the other one to the other one. Then we had to go for a long cross-country. I had to go from Mombasa to Nairobi, from Nairobi to Tsavo National Park in the south there. It is from Tsavo National Parks where I had another incident again when I was flying. When I was a student.
When you're alone?
When I was alone.
Still.
Because now, when you do those long flights and you have done solo and you have passed your solo, you have to go alone. I was in Tsavo National Park. I had even landed. Now, on takeoff, as I was taking off, because they are all earth runways. They are not tarmac, earth in the parks. So as I was taking off to go, I didn't know that there was a buffalo which was wallowing near the runway. Then a buffalo ran into the runway. And the buffalo, as I was coming with the plane, taking off, the buffalo kept looking at me like this. I had to pull the plane and abort it to rise up. Before I was just very lucky again that I was able to control the plane. And then I had to come back and land again because I didn't know what damage that sudden takeoff had caused on my plane.
Okay.
And that's all. When I finished my training in Mombasa, I came back and I started flying with the Uganda National Parks. By then, it was not called UWA, the Uganda National Parks. I flew with the Uganda National Parks for about a period of about 12 years.
That was long.
That was long. On and off. But having passed my flying, my flying
training in
Mombasa, then that was it. My promotions now became rapid.
Okay.
So from assistant warden, the one you now call assistant warden, I was now promoted to warden, pilot warden. Then I was promoted from warden to senior warden. Then I was promoted from senior warden to chief warden. And the first park where I became a chief warden was Lekemburu. Lekemburu National Park. That was my first park where I became chief warden. Then from there, I was now. I was chief warden from 1988 to 90. Okay. Chief warden.
In Mburu?
No, Mburu, then Queen Elizabeth.
Okay.
Then Mission Falls. 3 places. Now, in 1991, 1991, because 1990 I was in Mission Falls. 1991 is when I was now promoted to Deputy Executive Director.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Of Uganda National Parks by then. Before it became UWA, which is now UWA. Now, together with the Eric Droma and so many of my colleagues, Moses Okua, and some of them are there. Our PS at that time was Ben Oto. You know Ben Oto is the Honorary Wildlife Officer. He's still alive. Our minister was Moses Ali, the minister of tourism at that time, Moses Ali. So we now put together an agenda to merge, just like you have merged recently with UWEC. Now there was an incident now to merge UWA with Uganda National Parks by then, with the game department, which was a ministry thing. So we merged in 1995. We had already now implemented that merger.
Okay.
And it is that merger now hatched out Uganda Wildlife Authority, the one you are now working in. Oh. Now, during the interviews, we were all subjected to interviews to join a new organization.
Which is Uganda Wildlife
Authority. Which is Uganda Wildlife Authority. That was now 1995. I was very fortunate again that I emerged the best to become the Deputy Executive Director of Uganda Wildlife Authority.
Oh, the first.
Of the first. So I was the first Deputy Executive Director. And then Eric Droma, who was the Executive Director of Uganda National Parks, now became the Executive Director.
The first Executive Director.
Of the Uganda National Parks. Sorry. Oh, so I was the first Deputy Executive Director of Uganda National Parks, in charge of field operations, because I had to be in charge of field operations. One, by virtue of also being a pilot. At that time, I had a plane, so I could move here, there.
Okay.
So, but when there's an incident I don't want to miss to tell you. In 1993, when the 6 forested parks were being turned into national parks, it was again a presidential announcement. It was President Museveni again who pronounced that the 6 forest national parks be turned into national parks because they were not properly managed under forest department. So the president made a proposal like the one he made recently about what? Bugoma. He made a proposal that, oh, this forest should be turned into national parks. So we who were in national parks, Uganda National Parks, that 1993 we were still under Uganda National Parks. Myself, Eric Droma, and others were now supposed to negotiate with the bosses of forest department. My friend Paul Higenyi was the deputy like me in forest department. So when we were in the the Uganda Museum, you know, there's a hall where there are normally meetings. We're meeting there, negotiating. An argument, a very serious argument arose between us who were from national parks and those who were in game department. Hey, a fight ensued. My friend Paul Higenyi.
A fight of words or the physical?
Physical. Physical. Real. Now, Eric Droma and Higenyi, actually Higenyi was the one who started the fight. Eric Higenyi went straight because Eric Droma was fat. And so Eric Higenyi went and pushed a Droma down and started boxing him while he was down. Eric Droma, Professor Eric Droma was my boss. I was his deputy. So I went to try to rescue him. My friend Paul Higenyi, may his soul rest in peace, boxed me. There's even a wound here. I don't know whether you can see it.
Yes, I can see it.
You can see it. He boxed me. In his hand, he had a ring. And that ring had a, you know, those rings with some protrusions. So he boxed me here. I bled, so on and so on. I was taken to Mulago. Dr. Dumba, Professor Dumba, he's not a professor. He's still alive. He's the one who treated me. So some of these areas, we lost our blood to get them protected.
For conservation.
For conservation.
Okay.
So, in short, I've had instances, 4 instances, where I've nearly lost my life in the course of conservation.
In the course of conservation.
The one of 1981 in Kidepo.
The Savo incident.
Then the Savo incident.
Now the meeting incident.
Now the National Museum, Uganda Museum incident. But then there was also another deadly one in 1984 when I was in Mission Falls National Park, where I was the warden in charge of training. And that time, you know, President Museveni was fighting. There was a guerrilla war. He was fighting to come was fighting with the Obote for the government. Now, accidentally, it happened that's also the time we were training rangers. Oh, we were training rangers like now you are training your rangers. It is now a bad coincidence. We were training rangers to come and protect the wildlife. Somebody went and told the soldiers in Gulu that the national parks are training a Baekera from Museveni. So the soldiers came for us. 41 of us, we were 40. Those days we were not training many. We would train 41, then train another group of 40, whatever. Because trainings were frequent. So the soldiers from Gulu came for us, beat us. It's my wife who knows the scars I have. You know, burning us with a candle. You know, candles. These candles for.
Yeah, yeah.
They would burn our buttocks with candles. What? And so we suffered. Now, what saved us? When these soldiers now took us, they were now taking us to Gulu. Around Pakuba, there's an airstrip there. That road going now to the airstrip. Around Pakuba, the Elore carrying business people from Arua. Arua boys. Arua boys those days were very, very rich. Now Elore carrying those business people came. And those people those days had a lot of money. They were coming where? They were going to buy fish in Bugungu. Bulisa. Now you now call it Bulisa in Machar Fall. Now the soldiers went there and ran there and, you know, to put those people chini ya ulinzi. Now for us, me and my team, we were now left in the lorry, the army lorry. Now I told my because I was the warden by that time, I told my people, now, you see, if we stay here, we shall be dead.
It's time to take off.
It's time to take off. So I told them that even you who is wounded, because they had beaten us very badly, we were all bleeding. So I told them that even if you are wounded, please run. And I told them that what we do is don't run in a line, scatter. Run this way, run that way, run that, and don't run in a straight line. Yeah. And we ran up to Para was on the other side. Our headquarters at that time was on the other side. Remember, I don't know whether you have ever been to Para. It was on the other side. It was not on this side. Our headquarters was now on the other side. We ran until we reached the barracks. So that's and some of those people whom those soldiers killed, now the business people who came from Arua, eventually we had to bury them in the park. I think their bodies, I think, are still there. But they killed quite a number of the business people. But we took off. If those people had not got those business people, maybe it was our turn to be killed by those people.
So that is the first time that you survived.
So we survived. And that was on the 2nd of April, 1984.
1984.
1984. All those incidents, I'm telling you, I have survived through. And I really thank God for having me, having let me survive through. So from 1975 up to now, 2026, I am still alive by the mercy of God. And that's why when you come to when you come to praying, I really pray to my God and thank Him every time for having kept me.
Which domination do you belong to?
I belong to the Catholic religion.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That has been Captain Otekat on our show. It has been an interesting one, great experiences from him in conservation and also as a flight captain.
Yeah.
We meet again next time. I've been Diana Chibuka Nakaima, your host. On camera is Ronald and the whole crew, headed by Afande Bashir Hanj. We meet again next time.